All right, hey, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for stopping by. I've got a 96 Legacy. This is the, it is an all-wheel drive. It's got a 2.2, but this tip's gonna apply to probably 93 through 97 Legacy, Impreza, some SVX models with a bad fuel pump. So I've confirmed the fuel pump's bad. It's got no pressure. It's getting voltage supplied to the pump. So this isn't going to be so much about confirming the fuel pump. I've confirmed it, and I'm just going to be replacing it. So a couple things to note. This fuel pump is located under the rear seat, right down here. It's relatively easy to replace, but there's a couple things to keep in mind. One being, if you got 3/4 of a tank or more, then you're going to have a problem with fuel spilling out inside the car. If it's a full tank, you remove the plate to access the pump, it's going to blurb out all over the place. That could present a real safety issue. You don't want to mess around with a bunch of fuel everywhere. So definitely don't light up a cigar and celebrate and pop the cover off the pump thinking everything's going to be going fine, because you're going to be having a barbecue and inviting all your friends, and it's going to be more of a wake than a celebration of life, your life, and you're going to be dead. So anyway, be careful about that. We're going to first remove the rear seat so we can access that. I'll show you where that's at. Okay, so basically on this station wagon model, it's actually behind this section of the rear seat on the right side. Fold that section back, and it's going to be underneath this panel here. Got to remove this little cardboard piece here. There we go. Now I just got to remove these 4 screws that attach the inspection cover to the bottom of the car here. All right, so we got an electrical connector, which we got to unhook. Just push the tab, pull that out of the way. You got to kind of tuck it back up under here. Get it out of the way. Okay, and now we got to remove the 3 lines. There's 2 with little spring clamps, and then this pressure line here just has a little clamp. I've got a little buildup of pressure in the tank. I'm going to remove the gas cap and release some of that pressure so I don't have fuel pumping out of here. The reason I had that fuel pumping out of here is because there's buildup of pressure. I pulled the vehicle in from outside, and it's cold out there. It's below freezing, and warmed up and hadn't vented any pressure. So my bad. Okay, so we tuck these lines out of the way too. Like so. Now we got to remove these nuts here so we can pull the cover off. One thing to note, you may have corrosion in the area you're at. I don't really experience too much corrosion here, so hopefully all these nuts will come off. But I've seen them before where they didn't, and they started breaking off. Then you got a real problem, because it may actually require replacement of the entire tank. So you may want to take a pause, soak that with some PB Blaster or whatever, and let it soak in and work these off of here. You also want to make sure you don't have any ignition sources. Again, you're not smoking crack or something like that while you're trying to pull this out of there. That's going to be a real problem. Okay, now I got all my screws out. They all came out okay. So I'm going to pop this up lightly and just gingerly lift it slightly. So I had to turn it a bit to get it out past the fuel pump cinder float and the little strainer filter. But once you've done that, completely remove the pump. You want to clean all the sealing surfaces, and for now I'm just going to cover that up while I prepare the new pump. Okay, I've placed the fuel pump module in the vise here, and I'm going to service it. I'm actually using an aftermarket pump. I've actually got a CarQuest pump, and I've got a Delphi strainer. So you have to at least replace the pump and the little strainer sock that fits on the bottom of it. And I definitely recommend doing a little research. Go with quality parts. I wouldn't recommend the Airtex pump on these. They're just junk. They don't work good. They sound terrible. They don't work. They blow up. They don't even work out of the box. You put them on, they don't even work. I wouldn't mess with it. So anyway, you can also get, the OE assembly. There's Bosch products available, but I've found that this CarQuest pump, they didn't have the CarQuest strainer. I'm using a Delphi. They also make a Delphi pump assembly. That'll work too. Those are higher quality. So we got to pull the pump and the strainer off here, and then the electrical connector, which I'll remove the wiring. Might be good to just take a picture with your phone of how this is oriented. That'll help you on the reassembly process, just in case, forget how it goes. Oh, another thing to note, there's a rubber gasket, and it's also a good idea to replace the rubber gasket while you're in there. Okay, we've got our electrical connections made, spliced in the new connectors to the replacement pump. We've also kind of tie wrapped away the electrical wiring so that it's not loose, and making sure that also nothing interferes with the operation of the float for the sender. And we've installed our replacement filter sock. So we're ready to reinstall the pump. We've cleaned the surface, got our gasket, and just gently drop it down in and install our little attaching nuts. One thing, be careful you don't drop any of these nuts. If you drop any of the nuts and they go back on top of the tank, they can be kind of difficult to fish out of there. I've done that before. Okay, we got that tightened down. Now go ahead and route your lines, reattach them. Reattach your electrical connector. And reinstall the cover plate. Okay, we got things buttoned up. Let's give it a try. Looks like another successful repair. Hey, one thing to note, you might consider replacing the fuel filter at the same time. Sometimes as those pumps begin to fail, they shed a bunch of that carbon from the vanes of the pump and tend to clog up the filter. We're going to go ahead and replace this filter and wrap up this repair. Hey, thanks, and I appreciate you stopping by the shop. Hope this video has been helpful. Please subscribe now to the Car Doctor channel for more money-saving tips and tricks like this that are going to help keep you on the road. All right, good luck with your repairs.